Recently, I took some interest in a storybook JRPG called The Cruel King and the Great Hero, and thanks to NIS America, I was given a copy of the game in advance to its release, so thank you very much, NIS America. The Cruel King and the Great Hero is an RPG that'll kind of jump out at you right away, mostly because of its fantastic art style. I've seen a couple of people reference that it's similar to some other stuff, but to me, it was a pretty unique thing to see, and I thought it was just a really cool concept that they got into. In a lot of ways, it feels like a more old school traditional JRPG. It's a side scroller, and in other ways, it might actually remind you of some Vanillaware titles, I'll bet, not quite as fast action. In fact, this game is probably one of the slowest RPGs I've played in quite a while, but I really do thoroughly enjoy it. It's another reason why we're not doing a full review today. This is just my first impressions of the game. I haven't even come close to beating it, and in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a big storyline twist that's coming up soon that I haven't got to yet either. Part of what makes the game feel kind of slow is they have this movement mechanic, which I thought was rather unique. I don't know how else to put it best, and honestly, I'm not entirely sure if I super love it or I super don't love it. When you enter an area that has enemies, there's random battles, and if your character is not leveled up higher than the enemies in the area, you cannot run, you can only walk. And by walking, it increases the amount of battles that you have. So once you level up and you get above their level, then you can run through the areas, and it does reduce the amount of encounters you have. At first, it was kind of a tough concept to swallow, but after quite a while, you just kind of get used to it. It just slows the pace down quite a bit, I think. The biggest part of this game, though, is the story, and it is a very almost childlike quality to what is going on. It's very, going back to the word storybook again, it's very storybooky, and even the voiceovers and stuff that they do, which are all in Japanese, there's no English dubs on this one, but it tells the story of a little girl who's growing up with a great big old dragon. And I kind of think the dragon's evil, I'm not gonna lie, but the two have this kinship, and he serves himself as the protector of this young lady as she allows herself to go on these adventures. One of the things where this comes into play in the biggest is you always kind of see the dragon hidden in the background, and it's one thing that's just kind of fun to, as you walk around, to kind of just look and see where the dragon is and what he's doing. It's usually animated, he's not that hard to find, but it is kind of a cute little thing. This also comes into play during the battles though too, because your character, as she levels up, will eventually be able to use special skills. The very first one she learns is the ability to catch her sword on fire and use it to attack an enemy. Now, she is a small little human girl. How would she have the magical abilities to catch her sword on fire? We've seen that pretty much not explained or just explained by magic or special skills in most RPGs, but this one kind of takes it to a little different direction. So as you go to cast the skill, you hold your sword up and the little dragon is in the background. He sneaks his little peeky head out and he lights a little bit of flame on your sword and you use it as an attack. I actually kind of really like the idea of that. It also kind of harkens into the protector trope that the dragon carries for the young girl. The areas so far have been really interesting. I like the hand-drawn aspect of everything. I think that just really lends to the overall feel of the game, and the music kind of goes and falls in line with that as well. It almost reminds me of like a really light Ni no Kuni soundtrack, or I don't know, it just really feels storybooky. Everything about it is storybooky. I just can't explain it any other way properly. As far as other features go, the game has this kind of cool map, and you know, Bree, when she watched me play it, she's like, what the heck is wrong with that map? It looks so weird. But really, if you played a Vanillaware game before, you've seen it before. It just has the little bubbles and they're connected with dots to the different areas and kind of show if you can go up or down or left or right in each of the areas. It's kind of neat. It's not too bad. The other thing in the game is it has a full MONSTERDEX, so as you encounter monsters, they'll fill up your little MONSTERDEX and you can go in and flip through all the different pages and see the ones that you found. One thing I like the best about this is it shows them animated in the storybook, so as you go through you can kind of see what their actions look like and how they kind of move around in their own unique way in the MONSTERDEX. The game also has a badge system, which I'm not always the biggest fan of those kind of things, but you know, on the Nintendo Switch they don't have like an achievement system, so in this game they have inbuilt badges, and as you achieve certain things or certain challenges, you'll get these little badges which you can have in your badge collection. And when you're done, there's a badge for collecting all the badges. Some of you guys are really gonna like that. I'm not really writing home about it, but I think it is nice that they added that in for those who can't get the achievements on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I only have it on the Nintendo Switch, but it is also coming out on the PS4, and I'd imagine that it does have full achievements in that one. One of the things that kind of threw me off a little bit in the game was I was trying to find where my quests are, and I'm kind of used to looking for something called like a log or a quest book or quests or something similar to that. But in this game, it's actually called the scrapbook. So if you have different quests, you can pick them up and look at them in your scrapbook, and you can mark the ones that you want to make active, and they'll highlight themselves on the map with the different objectives. Some of them are kind of tricky to find, but it's really a pretty simple game. Everything's laid out pretty nice and straightforward. One of the other little small touches that I just really loved is when you go into the save menu. So the saving in this game is done, again, in the theme of a storybook, and when you pull up your save files, you don't just get little boxes that go down, you know, that you just pick whatever you want, but instead you get an assortment of bookmarks. And so those are pretty cool, and I thought that they did a nice little touch adding into that. Overall, I'm about 8 hours into the game so far. I've really been enjoying it. I've been finding myself diving into the side quests quite a bit, which is what most of the gameplay you see on the screen is me doing right now. They do give you a little reward system for doing that. Not only will it be a nice way to gain extra money, but you also get some kind of pretty cool unique items that can help you on your quest a lot. It'll get you out there to focus on building your levels up a little easier than just mindless grinding. And also you earn these very special points, which you can use in the collection page. And the collection page is an area where you can actually spend those points, and you can open up different things like concept art for the game, which is actually really cool. I like seeing kind of some of the background for the game. Obviously, they spent a lot of time on the art. Art was a very big focus for this game. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I don't know exactly who I'd recommend it to. You'd have to like more childish themes, but also be willing to grind and spend a little time fighting battles. They have a pretty interesting battle system, but it's not overly complex right off the top. There's a lot of skills you can use, and there is enemies that are weak to skills, which do help you out in battles, but for the most part, you just have to kind of grind your levels up. Otherwise, it's going to get really tedious just walking around on the map. But if you guys like that and you want to experience like a cute little story, kind of something like maybe Ni no Kuni on more of a side-scroller, simplistic storybook level, I really do suggest this. So check out the game. It comes out in Europe on March 11th and in the US on March 15th for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4 from NIS America. I'm Dre with Yokoso Otaku. If you guys like anime news, reviews, and gaming, please hit subscribe, and if you like this content, hit the thumbs up. It really helps us out. Catch you guys on the next one.